Welcome, race fans, as we are here at the 2.35-mile Detroit Grand Prix for the 86 IndyCar Series. Uh, Going to be a fast racetrack, flat, and the walls are super hard here. So I'm joined by this is Gerald, uh, joined by my lovely wife, Dr. Erica Campbell. Say hello.
Hello, everyone. Good evening.
Yep, and over the technical side, we got David, our trusty tech.
Bennett. Third is Adriano Pinheiro. Fourth, Nick Tagut. Fifth place, Victor Del Porto. Sixth place, Chad Frankenfeld. That's a household name. Seventh place, Eric Troiano. Eighth place, Brendan Madonia. Ninth place, Michael Hasek. And 10th place, Brandon Treno.
Real quick, Erica, where are the top five in points? How far away are they separated?
So top five is within 80 points of one another.
See, now that's something because in this series here, it's a little different. You and I are more familiar with the oval side with this NASCAR side, but here in the Indy cars, there's no chase. What you have is what you got all the way to the end of the series, and 80 points is a pretty big gap. Um, 2 or 3 points though. Looks like second and is only a few points back from the leader Alec Vanderson, which right now sits on top of the proverbial pole. But so far, it looks like it's going to be a close battle all the way to the end. But as we state, the qualifying has begun, and right now it looks like, as I stated, Alec Vanderson, they have group qualifying for this uh, track here. This will be the final race on a road circuit. I believe the final two races will be concluded on a oval, and I believe qualifying should end here in about 3 more minutes. Real quick, we wanted to go ahead and do a shout out for our sponsors, and as I say that, I'll leave that to the much better sounding voice of my wife here.
Thanks, Bib. So, Byrd Racing with a Y is sponsoring tonight's race. It's an American racing team in the NTT IndyCar Series. They support drivers in all forms of racing. Make sure you follow them on Twitter at Byrd Racing. We also have a few premier. Should I discuss those now?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So we have C2 Freight Services, which offers complete freight management services. They're ready to meet your needs today as well as your changing needs in the future, and capable of handling shipping for every type of goods, from perishable foods to office equipment. They also offer electronic data interchange services, which allows shippers to keep close electronic tabs on their shipments throughout the freight movement process. And for more information about them or to discuss your needs, please contact C2 Freight. Another partner for tonight's race is Blue Egg, the marketing department for small businesses. And small business owners, Blue Egg is your biggest fan. They help businesses punch above their weight class.
Well, I don't think I could have said it better myself. I'll leave that to her. In the whole side of being able to name some of these drivers. A lot of these drivers I'm not too familiar with. As I stated, I'm more of the oval professional, but we definitely got to respect some of these guys and their facet of racing with this road course racing. Again, this is Detroit, so it is a very fast, difficult flat track. I've been here a couple times. Not particularly my favorite on a stock car, but in the Indy cars, they're well suited for this racetrack. Uh, Looks like we have about 20 seconds left in qualifying here as they are about to wrap it up. So far, it looks like to be 23 drivers have shown up for tonight's event. And here shortly, we'll be able to do the race rundown as soon as they have concluded. folks. Well, the racing qualifying has ended, and we're going to go ahead and do our top. It looks like our top running qualifying for the field here. And to do that will be the lovely voice of my wife once again, Dr. Erica Campbell. And she's going to give you the top 23 in qualifying for tonight's race.
All right, on pole we have Alexander Vanderson. In second place, R.C. Anderson. Third is Henry Bennett. Fourth, Marshall Stanley. In fifth place comes Presley Sora. Rolling off in sixth place, Eric Troiano. Seventh, Adriano Pinheiro. Eighth place, Robert Malexa Maleska the third. In eighth place, we have Justin Fortner. Ninth, Hunter Smith. 10th, Chad Frankenfeld. 11th, Ryan Schuld. 12th, Craig Forsyth. 13th, Victor Del Porto. 15th, Garrison Hogan. 16th, Nick DeGroot. 17th, Jerry Brewpatcher. 18th, Vincent Isabella. 19th, Jordan Owens. 20th, Jared Rexing. And this is 21st.
23rd.
23rd, Mark Rabilas.
Alrighty, well, that's your rundown for tonight's field. Yeah, we'll go ahead and try to work on. I see that in chat. We're going to try to get the volume pushed up a little bit, so that way maybe we can be heard a little bit better for you. But yeah, it looks like they're going to be lining up the field now, as we stated. That's the lineup. There's a very precedent for trying to qualify up front here. It is a street course, and as you know, street courses, they are difficult to pass, and a little easier with these Indy cars than you would see in some others, just for the mere fact of the big speed gains, and the ones that know how to get around here are sure to know how to be able to make a pass from the field. But obviously, you want to start up front, and the one that we see right up front is obviously the points leader, Alexander Vanderson, in first. So both the points leader and the pole position for tonight. Right behind him is a well-known name of R.C. Anderson. I think both of those drivers have a very good chance to be the victor tonight. Everyone knows R.C. as he attempted to qualify for the Indy 500. Unfortunately, didn't make it in, but was the final driver to be knocked out in that qualifying session. But we're going to be rolling off. Looks like they're going to be starting on the backstretch. So it's not one of those full grids where they have to go around the racetrack. So looks like we'll be able to go green fairly quickly here. Yeah, again, not really my cup of tea with these street courses, but I know there's quite a few people that have a heart for this type of racing. It's definitely one of those that puts a scare into a lot of people's perspective when they enter this racetrack. It's one of those tracks where it's very easy with how flat it is to be able to go into that outside wall. And with these Indy cars and the open wheel side of things, that's a good way to end the race for you. So they got 80 laps tonight to be perfect every single lap, or unfortunately, they're not going to end up in a position where they're going to go into the final races here in a good position. As they come around, they should be about to roll off here. See a couple people in the chat here have already started throwing out race predictions. Again, not too challenging of a race prediction to come out and say that RC is going to be one of the favorites for tonight. That's pretty well known. He is a pretty stout road course racer. I've raced against him in a few other series and always seems to be one of the top people up there. But here they come around. They're going to be coming to take the green. We're going to go green here to start the race. Actually, no. Again, I'm a little confused with these Indy cars, but I guess they do have to go around the racetrack one more time. I thought on the with how they lined up, they would go green as soon as they come around the backstretch, but pace car is out again. Don't think that was planned, as the pace car did go in, so I was correct. The pace car did go in. Not quite sure why the race car came back out. but I think they've extended the caution for one more lap. So this will be counted as a lap of green. It is a long racetrack to go around on a caution speed. Caution speeds are roughly around like 45 miles per hour. So sit back. We got about 5 more minutes before we actually do go green here. Not quite sure if there was a reason for the delay. They're not really showing a reason, but I think maybe the field wasn't caught up at the back, and they want to give everyone a fair shake at this. So they are going to be able to bunch them back up. Well, while we're waiting, I'll ask my lovely wife if she has any perspectives on this type of racing. She's watched NASCAR, so not so much on the Indy side. The Indy side is definitely a faster beast at it. They definitely have a lot more speed in the going into these turns. But Erica, how do you feel about these Indy cars? I know you watched a lot of NASCAR, but I mean these are fast little things, aren't they?
They are. I'm just wondering who's going to be the Jimmy Johnson tonight.
Oh, oh, that's a rough. That's rough. I don't. Yeah. Sorry, folks. It's her first time. You don't blast the 7-time champion. He may not be the best at Indy cars, but he deserves that title. Wow. Sorry about that. But she has a point. We will be having to keep an eye out and see if anyone's gonna have a difficult time out there. If I had to predict, this is a difficult track. I'm sure a few drivers once or twice are going to have some issues. So they will be coming around the bend here, and they should be going green this time around. They just confirmed it over race chat. Well, they got lucky. They got to test the track one time. So for at least one lap here, everybody's clean for the most part. So we'll find out if that's going to be the case on the second lap, as they're going to be lining up on the backstretch. They will be coming down this long backstretch. This is a good passing point. I know that from stock cars, that this point in the track right here is you want to keep the speed up when they come around to this front stretch. Pace car is in. Well, we're about to go green, and the green flag is out. We are green, and out to an early lead is R.C. Anderson. R.C. Anderson. Oh no, that's R.C. Anderson. A second. Yeah, out to lead is Alexander Ant, and he has got a couple car links over him. So far, going around turn 1 and 2, everything is clear and clean. A couple cars backing out and trying to look, but again, very tight corners here. You got to be very careful. Car in the wall in the back. Not quite sure who that is. Caution is out. Caution is out. There was a car that turned around and went straight into the into that barrier. We're gonna see if we can pull up a little replay for here. Yeah, that was the number 25, Marshall Stanley, uh, back into the wall very hard. Looks like he got tapped into the left rear bumper and slammed it. A couple cars did make contact getting past him, but I don't think that car's going anywhere right now. Oh yeah. So as we have stated in the beginning of the race, tough racetrack, very tight, and there's no room for mistakes here. But unfortunately for the 25 of Marshall Stanley, he will be out for the rest of the evening, as that car is absolutely destroyed. Well, we do know cautions play a factor here, and that's going to bunch up the field once again. I see another car back there with a pretty messed up wheel. Another driver here, the number 12. Oh, his right front is, or his left front is bouncing up and down quite a bit back there. See if we can get a video of him back there as he's going to be coming down pit road. That would be in yeah, yeah. No, maybe the numbers don't match. I don't think the numbers on his car match what the broadcast is showing. It's Andrio is down in the pits. That's the driver that I stated that looked to make a little left side contact with the driver that got turned around there. We'll see if he's going to be able to get back out. But yeah, quite a bit of damage to the left side of his vehicle. Here they're going to believe there's a couple laps of cautions. But yeah, we're going to try to see if we can get a good idea what happened to him. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Right there, you see contact made. Looked like another car was turned around even further before the wreck was even at, and had nowhere to go. Yeah, and then you see the tire shaking and moving and going all which way. That's a good indication that something broke on that front end of the car. So, first lap of experience with these Indy cars. What do you think so far?
It looks like it's definitely a fast race, and that there's not a lot of room for error or any kind of mistakes.
Yeah, that's pretty obvious with how the thing started here, where contact was made fairly early on, and I'm gonna suspect that's probably not gonna be the end of contact for the rest of the night. Alex Vanderson is still out front with RC right behind him. Henry Bonnet is in third. It looks like they're gonna have at least one more lap of pacing here. If it was me, I'd probably be pretty happy with pacing. Again, not a track that I would be too keen on doing 80 solid laps of nonstop on this circuit. That's got to be taxing and wearing, especially mentally, as far as making no contact on the wall. To be honest with you, this is probably one of the toughest street courses, just in the mere fact of the amount of speed that these Indy cars carry here. Uh, there's not a lot of give. Again, there's a lot of flat surfaces here and high braking, and it's pretty difficult when you got another Indy car right behind you to try to focus on the track and the driver behind you as it goes along. But pace car lights are out, so we will be going back green here when they come back around. I didn't see any of the leaders pit. It looks like most of them are going to stay out here. I would have to predict the track position is going to be pretty keen, so I would, especially with only going down the backstretch, tires didn't have too much wear on them, as they probably don't wear fairly too quickly on a track like this, especially early on. But they're going to line back up. They're going to be coming back around the back straightaway here. Feel like that pace car might be getting more laps and a few drivers by the end of the night. As we stated, this is a 2.35 mile track, 14 turns. And each one of those turns are more deadly than the next. Well, so far it looks like only one driver was taken out in that wreck, and that was Marshall Stanley, the number 25, who went backwards into the wall. Looks like he was the only one to be knocked out of the race as of now. But as you see, we got RC running in second. I love the paint color of that that number 75 RC Anderson. Beautiful blue and yellow. All right, now the pace car should be turning in, coming down the backstretch, and then that will release these cars, and they will start to fly and sing as they come back around. This has always been part of the coolest track, right down this back straightaway. Trees on both sides. It's one of the prettier views you'll see in racing, is racing underneath these big trees. But down goes the pace car, waiting on Alex Vanderson to take the green. And he is taking it slowly. Not quite sure why they haven't. I guess in this series maybe they wait a lap after caution, and that might be the case. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're not green. 78 miles per hour would be not as exciting of a show for an IndyCar series. But yeah, they probably are doing one more lap. Not again. Was kind of brought into an IndyCar series. Never really raced an IndyCar, so I'm experiencing this as a newbie. So far, we haven't really seen as much racing, but I mean, to come to a track like this, there's plenty of action. So I'm learning as we fly, and experiencing this with the rest of you. As again, we're gonna be coming down the back straightaway. I'm gonna guess Alex Vanderson's gonna go green as they come back around this time. We have only completed so far 4 laps, as they will be coming around to the 5th lap. 80 laps seems like an eternity for most of these drivers. Alright, down the beautiful palm tree straightaway. Waiting on Alex Vanderson to take the green. And he is off, and they are gone. They've already started to space out, distance themselves. RC is right behind him, trying to keep on to the back of him, as Alex Vanderson's got himself a good about 4-car length lead over RC. Looks like the number 1 green car is looking underneath RC, not able to complete any kind of gains on him. Kind of slot back behind him. So far, a lot cleaner of a start, as it looks like they are still green all the way through the field. You'll get to enjoy and see these cars get oh so close to these walls. And that's what really sets these guys apart from most iRacers, is they take it to the extreme when they use all the track, as you see them zigzagging back and forth, and that's not just for fun, that's for speed. As looks like the front 2 drivers seem to be gaining a little bit of a gapping here. As both of them seem to have amazing car control. They've already got themselves about a 10-car length gap over 3rd place. I have a good feeling that this is going to be the battle for most of the race. I don't believe either one of them is going to let the other get too far in front from each other. Which just adds to the intensity, as I stated, with how difficult this track is, that they're not going to have much of a breather before either one of them jumps on each other. As you can see an onboard shot of RC here. He's got a couple corners that it looks like he has a little bit better turn in than 97, but as you see this onboard shot, you'll see exactly what I'm telling you as far as how close they get to these walls and the speed that they carry. Yeah, there's not a lot of lifting. there's a lot of throttle down in most of these. RC is well known for his smoothness in these road course racing prowess cars. That wide entry in, oh so key, as they're going to come to this very slow part of the course. Turn in and turn in once again so quickly here. And then back hard down to the right-hand side, where you see trees on either side of you. Throw a couple more turns in just for the fun of it. As they come back down, this will probably be one of the fastest part of the tracks, as they come back down toward the front straightaway, reaching speeds on up to 160. Hug those corners tight. Back down another super fast, very important, easy pass portion of the track, where they reach speeds up to 170. And then a very, very sharp turn and hard on the brakes. Well, that gives you a lap here. Very quick, very fast, very dangerous. RC is one of the best to watch that for. so far he's able to keep just a couple car lengths on the 97, and actually in the last lap or so, he's actually been able to gain quite a bit. Is he going to be able to have a look? He's looking onto the outside. Stays in behind him. Looks like we had a couple cars in the back have some incidents, but right now, the battle for the lead is shaping up. And these two drivers have now put themselves into quite a distance over over third and fourth place. Yeah, down these long straightaways, I do believe that it is quite beneficial for RC to be behind Alex Vanderson as he's able to catch that draft on him. Well, so far, Alex Vanderson's showing why he's the points leader and hoping to gain a little bit more as the coming races end and the season concludes in just 2 more races after this. This is the last road course, so this is his specialty, which most drivers know in multiple series with Alex Vanderson is he's an amazing road course driver. So I'm sure he's hoping to be able to gain a little bit of a gapping over second place in points with a good finish here tonight. Yeah, down that long sweeping backhand corner at the back of the track there is always an interesting part of the track where you just swing back and forth just to be able to get just the right entry going into those turns. And these back straightaways here, right before you get to the long straightaway to come to the front stretch, hard braking parts of the track, probably the hardest points of the track. Well, in this lap here, it looks like Alex Vanderson's got himself a little bit of a distance over the IndyCar driver. Or should I say the real-life IndyCar driver. That puts us on to lap 9 of 80. Alex Vanderson comes around the back straightaway. Don't ask me what turn numbers these are. I have no idea. There's too many of them to number for me. I'm not that familiar with the track, but I'll tell you roughly where they're at as far as back straight and front straightaway. But so far, it's been an interesting one. We do have a few drivers in the back of the field making a little bit of contact with walls, but nothing so far to knock anyone out. So far, we're keeping clean fenders all through the track, but it is pretty known on this track here to start separating and gapping each other. As we reach this time around, coming to lap 10, we'll give ourselves a little bit of a rundown of the top 10 here. All right, so in first place right now with a looks like to be a steadily gaining lead right now is Alex Vanderson. Alex Vanderson started on pole, has led every single lap, and is starting to now distance himself. It's going to be catching up onto some back markers, but in second place so far is R.C. Anderson, the IndyCar driver, pro himself, and in third we have the number 1, Henry Bennett, 2.7 seconds back from the leader. In a good battle. He just lost the position, it looks like. And I'm hearing wrecking in the back. There's a car in the wall and stuck against the wall. Excuse us as we hold off on that. It looks like Michael Hozak is stuck into the wall, hit hard. And I think he decided to tow it. There was nowhere going for that. As I stated, these walls will reach out and grab you and refuse to let go. But back up to where we were. In third position, it looks like let's see. Well, it looks like the 98 took over third position of Parsley Sora. And in fourth position is Henry Bennett now. Back in fifth position is Eric in the number 14. He's about 5 seconds. He is catching up onto the number 1, who seems to be slipping back from where his starting position was. And behind Henry is Eric in the red and white number 14. And to round up the top 10, I'll let my lovely wife take over and have a much better time pronouncing the names listed here.
All right, in sixth position, we have Robert Malexa III. Seventh place is Justin Fortner, followed by Chad Frankenfield. Then we have Ryan Schuld and Hunter Smith in 10th.
Well, there you have it. So far, the field seems to be spaced out. Chad Frankenfield's worked himself up into the 10th position, but he is already 11 seconds behind the leader. So that can kind of give you a pace difference between what the leader's setting down to what all the way back in 10th place is handling. We'll take note that it looks like so far, looks like I'm getting reports of a crash. See if we can go back and see. Oh, not so much a crash, but that's something you'll see here. Luckily, this track does have some runoff zones. If it doesn't look like you're going to make the turn, you just take one of those runoff zones and save the vehicle for another day. Essentially, is what they what those corners end up having for you. You lose a ton of positions, but a big key thing is that you've not nosed your car straight into a wall. So very easy to do in that back straightaway turn, the one that curves so much. It is led to have drivers a little overdriving it. But as we have back up at the front, looks like Alex Vanderson is not leaving as I had predicted. RC has now caught back up. I don't know if the tires are going off. You would believe on a flat street course like this that tire wear would probably be a fairly big thing. Man, 97 really has that back end coming out on these turns. You watch him come around the turns, and when he comes out, that back end swings and somehow is able to keep it from slapping it. I would never be so lucky. I'd be looking for new rear ends every lap I went with that. But so far, able to keep the throttle down. But RC is not leaving. He is still right behind him. But the one to really take note, who's really started to gain, is the third place driver, Presley Sora. He's started to catch both the drivers, and he was a little farther back, qualifying in 5th position, and slowly started to work his way back up towards the two drivers. Again, maybe he was saving a little bit more than them. We are 13 laps in. Doesn't seem like much, but for a street course like this, that's pretty high tire wear. Question comes down to is when do tires make the difference between making a pass or not? You know, if a driver's really using them, it's interesting to figure out where the passing point. But so far, we're going to have to look for a battle here in second place coming up, because that 98 Parsley is really starting to put some pressure onto RC, as he is now just within maybe about 5 IndyCar lengths from him and gaining ever so closely every corner. You see an onboard view here. This is what they look. This is what they see. They got that little halo around them. Great safety feature for real life. iRacing implemented it, of course, to make it as realistic as possible here in the IndyCar series. And as you can see, you got that little tip in front of you, and that's about it. Other than that, you really don't see the halo. So I think it's a pretty awesome safety feature that IndyCar has brought to these cars. Always was quite scared of when a car jumps over on top of another one in this series. That adds a little bit of protection. Drivers do have to get used to that, though, especially ones that are very familiar with just a simple cockpit. But as you can see, I mean, they're so close. There's not much room coming around these turns. Very quickly, you have to just swing it out and go straight to that wall. Again, coming down the front straightaway to complete lap 14. Boy, yeah, so far it's been great racing. I would have thought the leader would have taken off, but so far it's been a 3-horse battle. The 98's definitely asserted himself into the conversation as he's grouped himself right up to them. Not quite sure of a fuel strategy involved into these. I've watched a few IndyCar races, and that's been always been the key factor in making a lot of positions and making up the game. Is racing is a big part of it, but also the tire strategy involved as to when to come down to get the tires. Uh, so far, as far as pace speed goes, they're about a second and a half off the qualifying time. So, as you can imagine, on a track such as this, second and a half is the difference between first and third. So, if one driver decides to poke in first before the others, that's going to make quite a bit of a difference. Again, 80 laps, and we're not even 1/4 of the way through that field, and already starting to really gap some of the drivers. There's only so far on the field, only 15 drivers still on the lead lap. Other drivers have been in either due to damages or for other causes, and has started to whittle the field with attrition. 15 cars is all that's left. And as we stated, Chad Frankenfield back in 10th position is a total of 17 seconds now. 17 seconds back, to give you a kind of an idea. He's been having a little bit of battle back and forth back there. So far, it's he's. I know Chad from the oval side, and he's a tough racer in the oval side. I always wondered how he did so well in Indy cars because he loves to use the fenders up on the oval side. Don't have those here, so I know you still got to get up on the wheel. It's definitely an aggressive style of racing. Aggressiveness is what gets you up towards the front. But always wondered how a little contact can make a big difference in these Indy cars compared to a stock car. So far, Chad Frankenfield's doing a decent job keeping the car underneath him, doing what he needs to. Probably more known for his oval side, but he does like to do some road course racing, as he is a previous winner of the Rolex 24 on iRacing. So he does have some prowess in the road coursing side of things. Well, real quickly, it looks like we also got a decent battle going for 5th and 6th here. A 3-car battle, really. Just as you see in the front, looks like these 3 drivers have all caught each other. The number 1 of Harry Bennett, the number 14 of Eric, and the number 91 have all started to catch towards each other. Ooh, back there. Looked like the 91 of Robert went into the grass just a little bit, catches it. He's going to lose a little bit of time, though. That was a great catch by him. He definitely got the back tires into the grass, and that's a no-no, especially when you're hard onto the gas. So that now leaves the 2-car battle going for 4th position. Definitely looks like Eric is backing up to the rest of the drivers back here. And so far, the 14th is number 14 of Eric is definitely catching up to him. Well, so far, what do you think, Eric? Are you seeing something a little different than what you're used to in oval side, and how these drivers go about doing it? A little quicker speed.
Definitely, and it's not only is it a different series, but it's also a road course, so that the drivers are a little bit more spaced out than I'm used to. I really like the paint scheme that Alexander Vanderson is sporting today. I like the purple and white; it's very nice.
Yeah, it looks like we got a couple drivers that are into the pit lane. I think due to damages. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah, it was the number 91, the one I stated before that had his wheel go off into the grass a little bit. Caught it. Looks like he's got some damage. Let's see if we can go back and try to figure out exactly what happened there. He was our 8th place runner at the time, and he's got quite a bit of damage now. We're going to be seeing a replay here. Looks like he had already hit the wall at that point. Oh yeah, oh yeah. As you can see, he missed the turn a little bit, went a little too wide, and pow, right into the wall. Yeah, that's what you got to look out for, Erica. I mean, you got those walls; they'll just reach out and grab you. You see what it does. In the stock car, they might have been able to keep going, but here on these Indy cars, it doesn't take much. That sent him straight into the garage area.
It looks like there might be some debris on the track from that as well.
Yeah, luckily for the IndyCar series, for iRacing in general, they tend to clean up the debris. Thank goodness, because if not, that would have led to a caution if it didn't. Looks like 91 is going to be able to go back on track now. After visiting the pit, he is going to be multiple laps down, unfortunately for the driver. So that's what I was talking about. That's the attrition levels here. The attrition level is it's big. As I stated, this is 80 laps. It's such a mentally wearing track, and it does not take much for drivers to have some issues. But as we were stating all that, it looks like we had a change in position, as it looks like RC Anderson has lost a position to Alex Vanderson. Or no, not to Alex Vanderson, to Presley. And now they've switched back. So there was position change, and then there wasn't. We missed all that. Well, you know what? I think they were just being kind to us, and they decided that they were going to let us see another battle. And they decided to give it back since we obviously weren't on that part of the battle. So they obviously want to be shown on the stream having a fantastic run and having some fun out there. But what that did end up doing was having Alex Vanderson just increase his gap. Now he's out to a 3.3 second lead, and has decided to just check out on these two drivers that they had their little battle. And that leads to my question: when do you come down pit road? I mean, you see them slipping and sliding, and they have now started to enter into lap traffic, just to make things a little bit more complicated. Because not only do you have to try to figure out how to get around the racetrack down, you have to try to figure out how to get around a slower driver. Down to 12 drivers on the lead lap, folks. 12 drivers on the lead lap, and we're just 1/4 of the way through. That means almost half the drivers have either wrecked or have gone down a lap. Boy, man, this track. I think this is the Dover of road course racing right here. This is absolutely the monster, as this track is just tearing them up and chewing them out. Sometimes faster than we can even see, because before we know it, we have drivers down pit road and drivers all damaged. It's hard to keep track and see who's even, in what position, because so many drivers are destroyed as of the moment. Looks like we're going to go to a replay here. Looks like Jared Rexing had a little bit of an issue. Once again, he did the runoff, but that saves him from, looks like he towed it. I think he's reached the frustration levels for tonight. So I would probably have been that about 10 laps earlier than him, to be fair. Again, when I state that this is a difficult track, I mean, that shows you right there. The driver just overshoots the turn and has decided that there's better things for him to do for the rest of this evening than to continue to have issues here. And it looks like we got someone battling for third here. Triano is up to third, the number 14. I'm wondering how he was able to get up there so quickly. Oh, looks like that's because we've got some pit stops happening. Looks like the one is going down pit road. As you see, he just lets the driver by for the position there. Not sure if it was due to damages. It doesn't look like his car is damaged. It looks like he's just getting tires, but he just lets the driver pass. With how difficult passing's been, that's probably the easiest way to get around somebody, is them letting you by. But what that does set up is it looks like there is some live pit stops happening. I stated that there's going to be some undercuts. We saw the speed difference between new tires and old tires. One of those drivers in is the 98 of Presley. We saw him gaining up on the top two drivers, and he came back down pit road, got some tires, and he's going to try to make a run at it and try to be able to jump over the 97. 97's going to continue to stay out there. It's going to be a wonder when he comes down pit road. Again, it's difficult to get around. You don't want to have a driver be able to cut you, but he's going to stay out for another lap. And as we stated, each lap is around close to 1.5 to 2 seconds in speed difference. And he was only about 3.5 seconds back from the leader. That should, if all speeds are correct, 97 staying out 2 laps. As of now, it looks like maybe the 98 will be able to jump in front of Alex and take over the lead, be the first lead change of the night if that does happen. So the question comes down, when does the 97 come down? Yeah, he's got a tough question because right behind him and still has not left him and actually has started to reel him back in once again. It's been this yo-yo effect between RC and Alex Vanderson as they continue to close the gap and spread it out between each other. Now he's starting to close it back in. So question is the 97 going to race the 75 for position on the long run, or is he going to try to get back before the 98 jumps him? I stand corrected. I don't think the 98 actually did make a pit stop. I think he actually wrecked. I don't see him on track. I thought he was down pit road. He is doing such a good job gaining on them, and now he's a lap down. No, that's absolutely for a fact. He is out of the race. He's disconnected and everything. He's done for the night. So at some point, he must have made contact at some point. He's gone. Wow. Oh boy, that leaves 10 cars on the lead lap, folks, and that was your third place runner. Got up to second at one point over RC Anderson. Had incredible speed. I thought he was coming down pit road for some kind of strategy play, but it looks like unfortunately contact seems to be the end of his night. Sorry we didn't get to see that, but probably for his own benefit, as he probably would not like to remember any of this. So now we've reached coming to lap 25 with 10 cars on the lead lap. And the only saving grace for you folks watching is that the lead has not really shrunken or been a big issue for us. It's been a fairly entertaining race as far as the lead gap goes between RC and Alex Vanderson. But what that does do is it moves everybody up one. And as I stated that, it looks like the 14 of Eric is now in third, and the 26 is Justin, driver we haven't really stated too much, and in fifth, the driver, and it looks like another fifth place driver is Chad Frankenfield. So one of those drivers that we said was pretty keen on just trying to make sure he was clean. We got a couple drivers going down pit road. Yeah, we got a few drivers coming down pit road. I think they've decided lap 25 was the time to pit. Trying to break this up maybe into 2 pit stops. 25 is the lap of most of these drivers' markers. You see a couple of them coming down coming off of pit road as we speak. Yeah, that was your 4th place driver going down pit road, and he comes back out. Not quite sure how far he dropped back out. Looks like he is still being the top 10, but one driver that has decided to come in is your leader, Alex Vanderson, has decided to come in. And right behind him, it looks like RC. So RC has decided to play the strategy, just keep him in sight, as not playing really any strategy plays, coming in the same time as Alex Vanderson. He's just decided to make sure that he's within reach, maybe counting down the race, just making sure that he doesn't make any mistakes, as that seems to be the theme of tonight, is mistakes, as driver after driver have knocked themselves out of contention and now left only really 2 drivers in play for the lead. Both drivers are out onto the track. Oh, the replay looks like Alex Vanderson is in the wall. He has knocked his front nose off of it. And as I stated, almost in a jinxing fashion of mistakes, A big mistake from your leader of all night, Alex Vanderson. Overdrives the turn. He had a pretty decent gap. He didn't need to push it that difficult. New tires were too slick. Goes straight into the wall. He's going to have to come back down. It's not going to knock him out of the race, but it is going to lose him from the lead and absolutely put him in a downward spiral of winning this race. As he's going to have a hard time getting back to pit road. With no front nose, you need the downforce here. And he, just to make these sharp turns, he is going to come back down pit road this time, but that's going to put the RC right into the catbird seat. I mean, wow. Mistakes are absolutely big. And not coming down pit road is Alex Vanderson. Oh, and he's going to hit the wall. He hits the wall. He didn't have the, I don't know if he didn't know he didn't have a front nose, but he's out of the race. Your points leader is out of the race. He is, he's going to take a DNF for the night. He decided to stay out on track. I don't know if it was due to the fact that he didn't know he didn't have a front nose. But as I stated, on these fast parts of the track, you got to have that downforce to turn, and straight into the wall and damaged and possibly out for the rest of the night is Alex Vanderson. And he's, luckily for him, not going to drop a ton of positions, just the due fact of how many drivers are already out. Only 27 laps in. He should still have probably a top 15 finish. That just gives credit to how difficult this track is. But wow. Oh boy. Just a lap that Alex Vanderson would probably wish he didn't have to ever have to relive. But what's going to end up playing into a factor is that it's so close to the end of the season. And that's going to play a big factor in how this shapes up at the end. He's going to look back at this race and he's going to wonder what ifs. I mean, to go from having a comfortable lead and pushing it too difficult. I mean, the only driver he had behind him was a non-series playoff or non-threat in the points standings of RC. There was 18 seconds behind him with no one behind him, where he just is gonna have nightmares. I guarantee you, nightmares of what ifs after this. And what has happened due to all this is now you've got RC probably looking at his phone right now as he's driving, wondering when is it going to be done because there's no one behind him. There's no one in front of him. He's out there by himself. I mean, he's just putting laps down for whenever they decide to put him into an IndyCar race here. So, I mean, this is just practice for a future race for him at this point because he's got really nothing else to worry about. So, boy, well, I was stating that at least we had a battle for the lead to spice things up, but that didn't last long. That didn't last long at all. So unfortunately, we're gonna have to, go further in the field to find really where the battles and the important spots really are gonna shake up at. I mean, because unless as far as and it can't happen. We're stating RC's already won the race, but just because he's a professional driver, losing, some maybe having that big gap would actually be a downfall to him, just for the mere fact that he might go to sleep and make a mistake. That's about the only thing I see RC having an issue with for the rest of the night is if he can keep awake. But we're gonna go ahead and I'll have my wife give us a little bit of a rundown from the back of the field to the front of the field. She's gonna give you both an idea of where the driver is at as far as timing and give you a track position where they're running at right now for us. So obviously to start it is going to be your leader of RC Anderson here.
And at this point, there are only 9 cars total on the lead lap. So in second place, we have Henry Bennett, rolling in third. Oh. All right, 8 seconds behind, we have Henry Bennett. Then we have 10 seconds behind Eric Troiano. About 26 seconds behind, we have Justin Fortner. And 30 seconds behind Chad Frankenfield. then 40 seconds behind Adriano Pinero, then 43 seconds behind Hunter Smith, 45 seconds behind Craig Forsyth in 8th. In ninth place, we have Victor Del Porto, about 47 seconds behind. And in 10th place, we have Alexander Van Sant continuing to fall, I assume. And from there on, it's at least a lap down.
Yeah, there's a lot of them down right now. The best battle is back here in ninth position, as it looks like the 27 Victor is going to make it 3 wide going down the backstretch. Looking underneath Craig for the 33. 33! Oh, boy, he stops it. Oh, man, he got so close. Oh, boy, man, we're catching them, some of them at the perfect timing at this point. It's, man, that was a little scary for both drivers. I thought the 33 was going to go around, and it looked like the 27 overdrove the turn. That's going to reset them back in their previous positions. 27 is last car in the lead lap was 48 seconds behind the leader. I'm going to guess he's probably going to be even farther back now. And man, that was close. He was able to do what some drivers didn't and mitigate the damages that was going to cause from that. But yeah, whew, boy, that was a close one. But what that does do is now is it puts the 3-3 a little bit into a little bit breather. So I'm sure he's going to be a little bit thankful for that, just for the mere fact that how difficult. It looks like Alex Vanderson is back on the track and is back into the wall. I think frustrations have now gotten to the better of the driver. To his point, though, he's only 11th place in position, so I'm surprised he was able to get back out. Well, he didn't crash, but came close. He's got nothing to lose at this point. I think he's just frustrated, to say the least. He is 2 laps down, the only driver 2 laps down, so at least still in 11th position. So top 10 is still within reach due to the fact that we still got 50 laps left to go in this race. We're not even halfway, folks, and only 9 drivers on the lead lap, and most everyone else is already wrecked. So, question comes down to is where do we buy all the sheet metal at? Because there's going to be a ton of them to be able to purchase. Oh man. Well, I'm trying to see if there's any other real battles going through the field. It looks like most everyone's spaced out. Let's see. Still the battle closest, which we'll have to wait a little bit for it to shape up, will be the 33-27 is starting to reel him back in. Victor, I think he's going to probably reassess his way of getting around him. Maybe not into that long straightaway. It's the same turn that Alex Vanderson got into the wall at. So, bit of a tricky track. So, well, we're going to go back up to the front as it looks like RC has just started to put it away at this point. He's not even really running super fast times, really, to say, but to be fair, why would you? It's more important just to make sure you do what the last leader didn't and keep it on the racetrack and just try to keep going. So I'm being harsh on Alex. I shouldn't. He's a points leader. He's way better road course racer, but it's super surprising to see top-notch competitor like him have an issue in a road course. Definitely one of his strong suits, but it is, as they say, it is. I mean, it's tough for him, but pretty good for RC. I'm pretty sure he was wishing he had someone to battle, but right now he's just kind of made himself look good and made Top Gun Racing look good with that beautiful paint scheme. Beautiful paint scheme out there, at least. He hasn't put a scratch on it, so we're thankful for that, right? So, but I mean, he's not too far behind. We got number 1 of Henry Bennett. He's been up there. He's fell back with tire wear. He's still there. He's had tire wear harder than anyone, where his times have fallen off. But he's got a clean car, and that's got him into second position right now. He had very good short run speed, able to stay up with him. But right now, RC is just kind of ticking away from him slowly by by lap, essentially, just as the tires start to wear. So, but he does have a driver starting to slowly catch up behind him, and that's the number 14 of Eric. He started back in the 6th position, slowly starting to catch up to the 3rd place starter of Henry. He's only about 3 seconds back. Really won't see a battle from them for a few laps based off of that. But again, one thing we've noticed is the number 1 having the tire wear like he does, it does start to push him back into the 14. And then other than that, we've got about a 24-second back to 4th place. Another pass for position, and clean one. Looks like it was on Frankenfield here, and that was for the 5th position there. So Frankenfield sliding back into the 6th spot. So again, just doing what he needs to, staying up onto the track and staying away from the walls. But yeah, it looks like he's starting to lose a little bit of pace to the 12 driver of Andrero. Oh man, he's getting so close to those walls. He saw that back tire start to swing out. I mean, they're getting so close to these walls, especially with when the tire wear really start to kick in. So yeah, they starting to space out again. Looks like Chad Frankenfield. Like you said, Chad Frankenfield started in 11th. He's running in 6th. I think he'd take that as a net gain and be pretty positive and happy about that. Right now, RC is starting to get himself to a 9-second lead over Henry, and Henry is starting to slowly back up to Eric in 3rd position. And as I stated, all the way back in 4th position, 27 seconds behind the leader, and a total of 16 seconds behind the driver in front of him is Justin Fortner, who started in 9th. But based off of speeds, I would say that based off the speed, Andrero is starting to slowly catch up to him, but he's got to be careful. That back end is constantly coming out on him. Yeah, so far still only 9 drivers. Is the 9th place driver is getting pretty close. He's just within maybe a few laps of himself going a lap down, which would join only one other driver 1 lap down. And there's been 3 offs is what we're getting. Three drivers that have been off and on the racetrack, either sliding or coming off the racetrack onto one of the runoff zones. So as the race goes on, the mistakes are going to pile up. I would guarantee you most of these drivers are going to end the night with a headache. I would almost guarantee most of these drivers are going to end the night with a headache, just for the mere fact of how much they've had to concentrate on what's going on in front of them. Yeah, we thought Victor was going to be able to catch up to Greg and have a battle, but he had a couple more offs, and now he's putting himself about 10 seconds behind the 8th place driver. So once again, spreading himself out from any kind of competition for 8th for the time being. As we come back around to finish off lap 36, going on to 37, we're about to the halfway point. Well, folks, if you like this type of racing, we're not going to have that next week. This is the last one for the season. So it's the last road course that you'll see these drivers on. Some of them decided to go out with a bang. Some of them are putting themselves into a lot of pain, just continuing to go around the racetrack here. But what we do have is on Sunday, we do have the Old Testament Firearm Truck Series with both me and my lovely wife here. We'll be broadcasting the Truck Series. Hold off a second. We got another driver. Looks like to have gone off. Yeah, another driver, 27 of Craig. The 8th place runner, who I said was starting to gain a position, looks to have overdrove the turn, as so many others have, going down that long straightaway, and cooks it going in. Puts it in reverse and slings it back into first gear and takes back off. Still stays into the position, but what that has done has brought Victor. Victor's licking his chops. He's happy to see that he has found a way to catch back up to Craig. As both of these drivers started in 13th, 14th position, and they are excited to have someone to battle with again. I think Craig just felt Victor was a little lonely and decided to go back there and have some fun with him. So now Victor has to decide on is it going to be better to have the patience to catch him, or is it going to be to go time to go get around him? So far, it looks like he's doing pretty good. He's pretty smooth out there. So that's good for Victor. He's gonna see if he can be able to latch on a little closer to him. He is gaining, so he's only about 2 seconds back. So that will be a battle to look forward to here in a short bit. So he gets around the lap car. Oh, that's actually, never mind, not a lap car. Chad Frankfield on new tires coming out of the pits decided to pit a little bit earlier. He came down pit road on lap 25, and he's decided to come down lap 38, deciding that he's going to have to play some strategy move to make some positions. He was the slowest driver in the top 8 for the last few laps, so deciding that maybe he cooked the tires a little bit too much. But what that does do is it does give us a fantastic battle as a driver with new tires is behind a driver with much older. So we've got now, it looks like a battle going to be for 8th position between Chad Frankfield and Victor. And if Chad has seen some of the stuff go on from the broadcast booth, he'd be a little tentative to get around some of these drivers, as a lot of them have overcooked the turn. So he's going to have to figure out how to get around him and not lose too much time, because I guarantee you with those new tires, he'd be running a much faster pace if he was already past him. But he's going to stay behind him for at least one more turn here. He's going to try to set him up, maybe going down this back straightaway. It's going to be interesting because this is where everyone's over the turns trying to gain. Victor seems to have got himself out to a little bit over Chad. Oh, and Chad does a good job. Didn't even slide the tires. Look at him. Oh, Victor does get into the grass and kicks it up on Chad. So that was interesting. I don't know if that was out of disrespect or if maybe that's a strategy. Just kick dirt up at the driver behind you, get him away from you. Chad is starting to take the turns a little wider. I think I heard the back tire maybe touch the wall a little bit there. He's going to try to gain a little bit. The draft here, you do feel it. You do start to catch him. He's going to not be able to get to the side of him, but at least going to catch up to the back of him. Both of these drivers are starting to catch up to the 33, so that is allowing us to have a three-way battle here hopefully soon. Chad's starting to take the turns a lot wider, trying to get the exit speed to be able to do something with Victor here. Again, he is losing time from his new tires. He's essentially running the same lap times as he did with old tires. Victor gets loose coming out of the turn, comes back to the front Chad. Chad's going to have an ability to be able to try to pass him. He's going to stay behind him, going down the front straight away. Ducks inside. Oh, Victor gets a little bit on the grass. So you got to watch out with that. That turned you around real quick. So now Chad's right behind him. But again, does not set up the exit speed to be able to get any kind of position on him going into the turn. He's going to have to stay behind him. Again, I think his strategy of coming down to get tires did not play out to his benefit, as he's essentially just wearing out his new tires, being stuck behind a car with older one. And on a tight circuit track like this with these street courses, passing is a key and a must, especially if you come down tires. You got to be able to make the passes. He's still right behind him. This is the best battle going on at the racetrack. Chad, once again, I'm hearing him touch the wall with the back tire. I don't know if it's just Neko situation, or if he actually is. I don't think it's damaging the vehicle, but shows how much he's pushing. Victor is so loose coming out of the turns. Chad's able to get right up to the back of him, but again, these sweeping turns right here plays no benefit to being able to get any closer. Oh, so close. So Victor's gonna have to decide: is his battle with Chad, or is it going to be with Craig? Because Craig has already come down pit road to get tires. So the driver that was starting to back up to him has decided to come down to get tires. Now, and both of these drivers are eventually going to have to look behind them because they're going to be getting a blue flag. In the same picture is RC Anderson right behind him. What RC doesn't need to do is get involved with two drivers that are battling for position. And one of them is Chad Frankenfield. And we all know how difficult Chad is when he's a lap car. So I don't know if blue flags are a thing in this series as far as if he has to give up the position. I know it is another road course racing events, but we'll see if they heed warning and let RC be able to get by. RC really has no rush at this point with a 10.7 second lead over second place and continuously growing on that. But obviously, RC doesn't want to be put into a position where he's having to not only drive his race, but drive the race of lap cars. Again, Chad just not able to really do much on being able to gain anything on Victor. I mean, this has just absolutely ruined his his whole play on this tires deal, because once these other drivers come down, if it's truly is a 25 lap stint for most of these drivers with tires, he's going to have close to 14 laps on those set of tires. And well, looks like we might have another broadcaster coming in with us here shortly. Maybe to help me find some more action going on around the racetrack. It does look like Chad is starting to close up on him once again. But again, it's not the closing up factor that's the problem. It's the getting around him, getting a little closer. It looks like Chad just does not have the ability to be able to put a nose underneath him. I mean, Victor is loose coming out of the turns. And joining us on the broadcast is Sam. Hey, Sam, how's it going?
How's it going? I've been watching this race. It has been a chaotic race, that is for sure, but it's been a fun one watching all the guys and where they're running currently. And gotta say, RC keeping it clean up front. And man, I watching the Alexander Van Sant incident happen, that was kind of demoralizing there, Gerald.
Yeah, it's been kind of like a Jerry Springer show, just full of mistakes. It's just, it's been crazy out here. You know, you never know what's going to happen. You think a driver is starting to catch another one, and they go over that edge where they push it too far and end up in the wall. And in this track, the wall is everywhere, absolutely everywhere on both sides of you. You can't escape it. So. Yeah, we've just been watching some battles. One right now looks like Chad is battling with Victor, but only 8 drivers on the lead lap for to give you an example of just how difficult this track really is.
Yeah, it has been extremely difficult. And like you said, 23 drivers starting out. We're left with only 13 on track currently. So almost half the field already wiped out and not able to run anymore. As our actual, looking back, our last road course winner, that of Adriano Pinero, is going to be actually in pit road. It looks like might have been issues for that team in the 12, currently in ninth in pit road. But again, no surprise, we're seeing more drivers having issues. We take a replay of what happened to the 12th machine.
Yeah, so far so good going down that straightaway, coming to take the oh, he gets into the wall. Yeah, we've seen that a few times. He gets both the outside wall and the inside wall. Decided to go and make it an even sweep on both sides, and that is going to put him down on pit road for quite a while. Now, that what that does do is it does allow Alex Vanderson to potentially gain a position to get back into the top 10, because I do feel that kind of damage there will probably leave the driver on pit road for a little bit. But you were just stating that was a previous winner in a road
Yeah,
course.
Yeah, he
Well,
won back at Laguna Seca a couple of weeks back. So a previous winner, expected to see some good runs here, and just showing we've seen a lot of drivers that have won this season struggling at this course. I mean, you even stated it earlier in the broadcast, probably one of the most difficult courses that has taken out a lot of drivers.
yeah, it's been difficult. I mean, like, this is not a regular road course. Let's just state that. This is not a regular road course. This is, I'm going to go back to it. This is like the Monster Mile of road courses. It's difficult, it's mean, it's unforgiving, it's very fast. And, I mean, race winners, championship leaders have all had issues. And the only driver so far that looks bulletproof at this point has been RC Anderson.
Yeah, we
And
just saw the 88 being spun around as well. He's trying to get
oh yeah,
straight.
as you say that, I just saw the replay on that one. Yeah, the 88 did get spun around right in front of our leader of RC and Chad Frankenfield, who is right in front of our leader. Yeah, we're gonna. Man, RC is not in a position he wants to be in with all these lap cars right in front of him.
No, and that's the big thing. Yes, the track has been one of the most difficult parts of the race, but also lap traffic can also be a factor. But we've seen a lot of drivers been getting out of the way, is all seeing the curb. Dangerous in that fashion right there.
Yeah, but one thing it does do is it spun him away from the track of ongoing traffic, so got lucky there. But as you see, Chad Frankenfield will eventually here succumb to the leaders and put himself one lap down, along with so many others tonight. And that will put only 6 cars on the lead lap as of right now, once he is able to get around Chad Frankenfield, which I stated, I don't think there was blue flags, and based off of Chad Frankenfield not moving out of the way, I would state that there is probably no blue flags in this series.
Yeah, for right now, for Chad Frankenfield, he wants to make sure he stays in front of RC Anderson, not wanting to give up any type of positions. Is the 75. I think for RC, has to continue doing what he's been doing, which is stay patient. And Chad Frankenfield now over the radio, sounding like he's going to be getting out of the way if possible here. And there he goes off to the right side, lifts off just a little bit, and there goes our leader, putting Chad Frankenfield down, and 6 drivers left on the lead lap. Gerald, I don't think it's a biggest surprise has to be how many cars are now out of this race, as Adriano has officially parked it for today. But a lot of the factors we haven't touched on at all during tonight's race is the fact that the drivers had selections when they come into pit road of what tire compounds they want to use. There's 2 tire compounds. There's the black, harder compounds that can last a lot longer, and then there's also the red compounds that are softer but can wear down a lot quicker, which right now you're seeing our leader, RC Anderson. You can see on the side, it's white and black. Those are the harder compounds that he switched to when he came into pit road, but expecting a lot of these drivers coming to pit road here. Some have already done their stint, but we're still waiting for about 3 other drivers, that of RC Anderson, as well as Hunter Smith, and that of Victor Del Porto, that all still need to come into pit road here in the next 5 to 10 laps.
Yeah, it really comes down to the driver, which tire compound they would go with. I would probably just mirror what RC Anderson's doing so far, so it looks good for him. I mean, he's able to just so smooth. We have never really seen his back end come out at any point in this race. And many of the other drivers, we see them just on razor edge, just backing, coming out, flipping it back to forth. It just leads to trouble eventually. And one thing we gotta say about RC, it's he makes it look easy. He makes it look way too easy. But unfortunately, he is gonna be coming up on some more lap traffic, which I believe the driver right in front of him is Victor Del Porto, and that will, if he is able to get around him, then relegate us down to only 5 drivers on the lead lap. So it actually, and down the pit road now is actually Victor Del Porto, deciding that he didn't even want to have to deal with RC.
Yeah,
No, actually, it's RC actually down pit road, isn't it?
RC's into pit road, and as well, just leaving, it's going to be that of Hunter Smith that was about to go a lap down. So a little bit of transition, leaving us still with 7 drivers on the lead lap, but we're seeing RC putting the reds on. As you can see, they have just switched, so he's going to have a lot more speed, and we're going to see, can the 75 put down any faster laps? I was looking at the best laps that have been put down all race long, and on the last pit stop, actually Henry Bennett was the driver that put down the fastest lap in the 1. But we'll see if Henry Bennett, with this undercut that he's going with, the one can gain any time as RC's back out on track.
So, question: you seem to be fairly familiar with Elite's Indy broadcast here. Now, with the Reds and everything, obviously they're gonna have some more speed. What's the life expectancy usually for those? They're about half what the Blacks are usually.
They're about 3/4 of what the Blacks usually are. They're going to be giving you a lot more grip on the early stints. You're going to be able to keep that speed for about the first 10 to 15 laps. Then it's going to drop off pretty harshly on these red tires. So the drivers right now, all their goal is to build up as much speed as possible. And at the timing of seeing when RC came into pit road, this could potentially be his second to last stop. We'll see if these drivers can stretch it to the end. We've seen a lot of these drivers only stretched about 20 to 25 laps, so around lap 75 to 70 could be the final stop for these drivers. But tire-wise, yeah, it's about 3/4 of what the Blacks can go.
Okay, so you do believe? Yeah, If you were stating they only have about 15, 16 laps of really good lap times, we've still got 30 laps left. Oh boy, it's been a long race. Again, the fortitude of these guys' mental aptitude on this type of circuit is very hard to do. It's again, there's still 30 laps left to go, and with taking Reds, I'm pretty sure that puts him into where he's going to have to come down and get at least another set.
Yeah, it's looking like a lot of these drivers are going to have to do at least one more stop, and that will be our money stop that's coming up as RC is going to be making the pass and going on by. I believe that was the 88. Yes, it was that of Jari that was getting by. And looking like Victor Del Porto now coming into pit road, getting service done for the 27. So all these drivers finally have made their second to last stop, now preparing for their next stop to be their final one, but only 12 cars on track. We're almost to halfway of half of the drivers are still here racing, while the other half, they're already off their PC and off doing something else. It has been a quick evening for some drivers, and for others, they cannot wait for tonight to be done.
Well, as you stated, I was going through, and it looks like every driver in the top 8 all put on Reds, so I don't see anyone really risking it to try to go further. And to be fair, why would you? It's just, I think more of the factor is you just want to make sure you finish at this point. You put yourself through all this pain and suffering of driving this difficult of a track. I think most of these drivers' main goal at the end of this is just finish. So I don't see anyone doing anything but Reds here from till at least to the end.
Yeah, as we are taking a look at the one of Henry Bennett, going to be about 11 seconds back currently from RC Anderson. Running in second is this one machine, and Henry Bennett came into tonight's race 7 points out from being our points leader. And gotta say, for our points leader, that of Alexander Van Sant, luckily a lot of other drivers have had issues, so it's not completely thrown away. As we take a look here, I mean, it's crazy to think, Gerald, that these drivers, we're coming close to the end of the season, as this is race 8 of 10. Coming up next is going to be that of Michigan, as well as Worldwide Technology Raceway. That's going to be our conclusion of the 2021B season. Crazy to think 2021 is almost over.
Yeah, it's come quick. It's come quick for all the series in Elite here, and like you stated, I mean, the one is oh so close. Looks like he's probably going to leave out of here with the points lead. And again, we go back to Alex Vandersant's issue on lap 26, where he went a little bit too hard on brand new tires and got into the wall, and it's going to leave what ifs because he's leaving here to go to a very what if track of Michigan, where I mean, that's pretty much like the Daytona of stock car racing. It's pretty wide open, anything can happen kind of a situation. So I'm pretty sure Alex Vandersant wishes he had a little bit more of those points go his way, but at least to his benefit, with it being such a difficult track, even with his issues and him being on pit road for as long as he had, still in 10th place. And I say still, actually 9th place. He just gained a position. 9th place. So, I mean, he's gaining position. It's not too out of the question with if he's not going to gain at least a couple more positions before the end of this, just for the mere fact of just how much this track is chewing him up.
Yeah, now going to be going into pit road is Alexander Vanderson, and we'll see what and how long Vanderson's going to be into pit road, if he's going to just call it a race. But I got to say, for this 97, yes, it has not been the race you wanted. Had a chance to win, but with the amount of troubles we've been seeing a lot of these drivers have, especially, Victor Del Porto, who's in 8th, he's almost crushed into the wall a couple of times here as 97 now going to get back out on course, putting on some fresh reds, and now going to be trying to conclude tonight's race with this set. Could at least try to gain a position if other drivers make mistakes. And now Nick DeGroot's going to be right in front of the 97 as we see Nick DeGroot just trying to hold on as he's going to be on 15 lap different older tires, than that of the 97.
Yeah, you missed the start of it here, but even from the get-go with the issues on lap 1, we've seen it crazy, and haven't really gotten to introduce you to my lovely wife, Miss Erica Campbell here. Real quick, Erica, if you could put this into one word, what would you say this track has been so far?
Problematic.
Well, there you go. Problematic. That sounds like everything she said about me up to this point. But that's all right. We're here. We're green still. We're closing in towards the end of this race slowly but surely. We're only about 26 laps till the end of the race here, and so far it's been a good one. All saying, we've seen some great battles, luckily, through the field. And, RC, I don't know if he, like I said, I don't know if he's on his phone during the rest of this race, but or just getting some lap time for whenever he decides to go back to real racing gear. Just out having time. Right now, the only closest battle we've got, probably 6th and 7th of Hunter and Craig, but as we say that, they're only about 7 seconds from each other. That so far has been the closest.
Yeah, I mean, I think also another close battle is for 7th as Forsyth and Victor Del Porto, they're about 3 seconds off from one another, so that's a close battle that could be brewing for these drivers. But, talking about RC Peterson and him trying to get a victory here and him possibly on his phone, I don't even think it's possible to really race and be on your phone. There's certain, road courses and ovals where you might be able to get away with that. I don't think you would be able to. As you take a look on the inside of RC Anderson, 75 trying to get it on board. Now the 75 is racing, and gotta say, it is just so claustrophobic. The way this racetrack is so narrow, it just makes you have to be focused every moment. But Gerald, looking at the pass for RC Anderson, the last time we saw this 75 team in victory lane in the IndyCar series here at Elite Racing League, I gotta say, I was surprised to see. Thought it was maybe earlier this season. Thought maybe it was even last season. It's been 3 seasons ago, back in almost over a year ago, November 14th, 2020, for the 2020B season at Indy. That was the last time RC Anderson found himself in victory lane here in this IndyCar series. So he's hoping to break that curse and try to get back into victory lane for himself.
I feel like RC probably just puts a hinder on himself just to make it easy for everyone. I think he races with an eye patch sometimes, maybe just to make it more difficult for himself, because if there's anyone on this racetrack that I would think that would have an easy time of this, would probably be RC. I mean, he's a professional, as you know. I mean, he knows how to get around it. I've seen him win so many times on road courses, even ovals, surprisingly, in the stock cars for Elite and everything. So I mean that is very surprising. For him to go that far back, I would have thought he would have had probably quite a bit of victories racked up at this point in time, but maybe this is the night.
I think RC might have been knowing that we were looking at a screen. I don't know why, but he used his push to pass. All drivers have 10 push to pass buttons, which enables these cars to have an extra 5 to 10 horsepower on the straightaways. That last lap was the fastest lap of the race, a 1:15.587 second lap time. That is almost a full second faster than what the second fastest lap time was, which was that of Henry Bennett's 1 minute 16 second .301. I don't know what got into RC, but he's deciding it's time to go.
He just took the eye patch off for that lap. I'm telling you, he hinders himself. I think. I think it's one of those situations that he just tries to make it fair for everyone. I mean that's a heck of a lap what he just did, and in that lap I was wondering why his car was getting more sideways than I've seen it all night, and I was just thinking, man, did he already burn up his tires? He's so smooth that just a normal lap for everyone else looked like he was having issues, but he was cooking it there. I mean, that was a heck of a lap, as you stated. Now that's put him up to a 17 set. It went from just 11 seconds back to 17 in a period of 3 laps.
Yeah, RC is running anywhere from a full second and a half. That last time when he put that fastest lap, that was 2 seconds faster. He is putting on a show and a clinic. Is RC Enerson right now, and yes, we're loving the speed. We're loving how quick he's going, but at the same time, we know he's a professional. Haven't seen him have any squirrels. I gotta say, this 75, as long as he doesn't make any mistakes, this is looking clean and crisp for himself to get a victory. But again, there's still that money stop that these drivers are trying to prepare for. They don't want to make any mistakes here, as just one slip up could end your day.
Yeah, I think even if the other drivers were running blacks at this point in time, a 17-second lead, I think it's a total of like maybe 28 seconds is what it needs to go down pit road and be able to come back and still be in the same position. So he's about reached that at this point. I mean, he just put off another 2-second faster lap over second place, and now it's up to a 19-second lead. So even if he had to pit one more time, I would still feel pretty confident if he had RC picked to win the race. He is going to be coming up on some more lap traffic, as that seems to be the only time he sees anybody is when he comes up onto lap traffic. Again, it's not over. This track, it takes one time, you being just a hair late of a turn, for you to just tap the wall, and there goes the right front. You know, we've seen it, unfortunately, way too often in this race. Is calamity and everything has just been a common theme of tonight.
Well, we're now going to be hopping on board with that of Victor Del Porto. In front of him is the 33. This is a poor position. Craig Forsythe's going to be in that 7th place at 33, trying to hold on, and both drivers very consistent on their lap times. Right now, Victor Del Porto did a great job catching up to the 33, but because of how narrow this course is, has been struggling to find a place to make a pass.
And the last time we saw these two drivers battle, we saw the 33 get sideways going into the turn, and we saw Victor Del Porto overshoot the turn and have to back up. So it took about 25 laps for Victor to be able to catch up to Craig again to get the battle going once again. But here it is. I'm sure he still has in the mind what happened last time, so he's going to have to figure out a different strategy going into this pass.
Yeah, he's got to be figuring out, where do I want to place myself? Also, when and where do you want to use your push to pass? Again, these drivers all had 10 push to passes to use, and Victor Del Porto has used half of his, only having 5 push to passes left in this 27 machine. And for that of Craig Forsythe, he's got 7 push to passes to work with for the rest of this race. So a lot of these drivers are still feeling comfortable on where they're at, but it's kind of, that's the chess game that comes out with these Indy cars. You've got the decisions of which tires do I want to use on pit stops, as well, when do I want to get that extra boost of speed on these straightaways to try to make a pass on someone else.
And that is the best battle right now that we have going on, is between these two drivers. Fortunately for both of them, they are a lap down, but still position is position as this late in the season. Oh, the 27 Victor got sideways going into that turn. He's pushing it. He's definitely trying to get that little bit over Craig. How much does air play in a factor, especially with going into these turns? Does it lift up the nose? Again, I'm a newbie with these Indy cars as far as how the handling goes when they get up to the back of someone.
Now, air-wise, I'm going to be completely honest, I do not know. I know just the bare minimum to get away with. But Arrow-wise, that is something that is I pass on to someone else usually. On that information, that is not something that I know much of, but
You're
I
not
would
an
imagine
IndyCar
it's a
driver?
little bit of factor.
You're not an IndyCar driver?
No, I love watching IndyCar racing. I love all the little nitpick things that you can do, but I love doing dirt racing. That is my go-to.
Oh boy, wow, we got a slew of different types of professions up here. Neither dirt nor road coursing nor street coursing is my thing. I usually is stuck to the circle tracks. I'm circle boy myself, but looks like Chad Frankenfield went down pit road, coming back out. I think he's taking his final set of tires as he's going to have 20 laps to the end. That does put him behind Victor and Craig at the time being. He is going to have to try to see if he can be able to do better this time with new tires. Last time he got stuck behind Victor, was unable to be able to get around him. But stating that, he's still a little distance behind both of those drivers.
Yeah, and for that of Chad Frankenfield for this 15, he's going to be all right. He's now made his money stop, and he should not have to worry about anyone else, knowing that all the other drivers in front of this 15 team is going to have to make another stop. It's got to be making feel good, especially with the undercut. But knowing for Chad Frankenfield, he wants to get a little bit more giddy and get more speed for the 15, but he has been struggling with tire wear. That has been his biggest struggle all race long, as he's quick in the first about 5 to 8 laps. Then there is a complete drop off for this 15 team, showing that he is really pushing into these corners a little bit too hard on the brakes, wearing down the tires way more. As in front of the 15 into pit road is the 33 of Craig Forsyth.
Yeah, Craig's decided to go down. Victor's going to have to try to figure out if he's got to figure out his strategy because, as we stated, I mean, there's almost a 2-second difference between old tires and new tires. So, if you stay out, are you going to try to make a run at the end, or are you going to come down and try to be able to allow the 33 not to get too much of a gain on you? So again, it's going to come down to pit strategy to determine how you're going to race towards the end of it. So Victor's going to have to make that decision. One driver that's not really having to make much of a decision for the rest of the night is RC. He's now worked himself out to a 22-second lead over Henry Bennett. Before we do a rundown, I'm going to have Miss Dr. Erica Campbell here do a little race partnership announcement here.
All right, so just to recap, we have a couple of partners sponsoring this race. One is C2 Freight. Again, thousands of qualified carriers, and whatever you need to ship, they have access to the necessary equipment, including flatbeds, double drops, vans, tankers, refrigerated equipment, multi-axle heavy haulers, dump trucks, auto carriers, intermodal containers, and more. We also have Blue Egg Market, that's a partner for this race. They are your marketing department.
Well, there you have it, folks. She sounds a lot better than Sam. Just saying.
Yeah. I mean, I just show up just to help you out. We wait for the professionals as Forsyth into the wall and good about to take a teleport. You saw there on the replay. Oh no, Craig, who just came into pit road, got service done, comes in too hot, slides in right into the tire barriers, and then takes the tow to pit road.
He had a black tires on, didn't he?
I believe he just put reds on.
Was it reds? Yeah. We seen where the most deadly part of it is when you put brand new tires on. They're just so slick that it allows the drivers to make these mistakes. And
whoa! Chad Frankenfield.
No, Chad Frankenfield, is it?
No, wait, that was Jordan
Owens. Jordan Owens. I was about to say, Chad was doing such a good job. That was Jordan Owens. Jordan Owens is already 11 laps down, so this might be the final rock to knock the bird's nest down. Essentially, he might be done for the rest of the night. But yeah, as we were stating, that's an unfortunate incident that happened to Craig. But what that does do, and what that is benefit for, is for Alex Vanderson as a potential another position to gain. I'm not sure if Craig is back onto track just yet, but Alex Vanderson is on the same lap as him as of right now.
Yeah, it looks like the 33 of Forsyth, as well as the 88 and the 16, all still in pit road, getting service done for themselves. So We're left with only 9 drivers on track and 4 of them being on the lead lap, but the question is, will we have 4 or will we have 3 drivers left on the lead lap by the time this race is over, as the 26 is being ran down quite quickly here. But, God, I gotta say, Gerald, this is crazy to think. I mean, we started out with 23 drivers, now left with 9 still out on track, and only 4 on the lead lap.
I mean, the only driver that is going to determine if it's 3 to 4 drivers on the lead lap is RC Henderson, just with how much he wants to push it. I mean, he doesn't really have to do anything. He could be, at this point in time, he could be over a second, well over a second slower than the field. I mean, he could probably drive out there without a front nose, maybe not to that extent, but just it shows you how much of a gap he's put onto the field. I mean, it's been a whooping. It's just, it's an old-fashioned whooping right now. He's been able to, just kind of set sail, be really smooth, but I don't know if there's even enough cars on the track to really cause a caution if there was one. I mean, we saw a caution early on, but there's, as you stated, only really 9 drivers even on the racetrack. So, man, I don't know. I think this might be all it wrote for RC.
Yeah, RC is doing a great job. Still waiting for most of our top 6 to come to pit road. Looks like the 14 of Eric Troiani is going to be getting himself a little bit of service done. Should be his money stop quick for the 14. He's already back out on course, only losing 1 position. So we're now still waiting for a lot of our front runners, and RC is now hitting pit road.
Yeah, you see RC coming down. He should, all in retrospect, he should be still in the lead even once he takes these tires. If Henry decides to stay out, it's going to be fairly close. He's coming down. He's going to get some reds. He's already away. So we'll have to see if he's able to beat the second place driver out on pit road.
And it looks like Henry Bennett immediately into pit road, so not even going to try to stay out for an extra lap.
Yeah, to be fair with Henry, his race isn't really with RC, nor really is it with anybody, since he's got himself a pretty decent spot in second place. He was a total of, I believe, 12 seconds above third place. So he himself had a decent run where he was able to gap out on the driver behind him. But I do have to say, to his credit, he had an issue. He made a mistake. Good on him. A lot of drivers would have just called it quits and probably just gone out with anger at this point. Alec Vanderson, having all those issues, still 2 laps down, and has ran now the majority of the race 2 laps down with really no one on his lap, is now into 8th position. That is what you call damage control. That's damage control. When he had wrecked, he was all the way back in like 16th, 17th, I think it's 16th position when he wrecked. And with him just keeping a cool head on him, able to come back out here, not really heard from again, which is what you want to do, just for the mere fact that we're talking about you. It's probably you've been in the wall, but he's just been steady. He's been gaining the positions, and he's playing the championship run right now.
Yeah, and for that of Alexander Vanderson, he's going to be coming away with 2 bonus points. Getting the pole position, he gets 1 bonus point. Leading a lap, he gets another bonus point. With where also he'll be finishing, coming in with a 7-point, lead over that of Henry Bennett. Vanderson, with this damage control, might even come out of today's race still as the points leader. It's going to be a lot closer than it was coming into tonight, but that is what we love to see coming to the end of the season, and that points battle for the championship being so close.
Yeah, it looks like so far RC's now distanced himself to 30 seconds over second place, but that did put a few drivers back on the lead lap, at least for the time being. Chad Frankenfield is back in front of RC. I don't predict it's going to be too much longer, as he's already caught back up to him with much fresher tires than Chad Frankenfield. And Victor Del Porto is now in 5th back on the lead lap. So some drivers are desperately trying to do their best to at least be there in case of a caution. I don't see anything going to happen, but they're trying their best at this point.
Oh, they certainly are, as RC Anderson, that last lap, still almost beat his previous best lap. So it is all go mode. And RC, before that last pit stop, came into pit road with over 6 push-to-pass buttons left. He is now down to 3. He is utilizing the speed he's got, recognizing, hey, I've got a massive lead. I'll utilize all my assets now to try to put down the fastest lap so I can say, hey, no one else was even close once I got the lead.
Yes, we're going to take a look and see. He had a little bit of a draft on Chad on that back straightaway, and Chad opted to give him the space to go around, so didn't affect his turn. So he might have a heck of a lap this time around. He definitely is pushing. His back end's coming around, coming across the finish line. He is going to run a 15.7.45. So yeah, I mean 15.745. That's pretty fast.
That's only 2/10 off of his fastest lap of the night. So, I mean, that is still incredible to see from RC and the speed he's got. And, you know, with Chad Frickenfield going a lap down, we were questioning, will Victor Del Porto go a lap down? I would say yes, he's going to, as the 27, still needs to come into pit road, which then should put us back to 4 drivers back on the lead lap.
Yeah. Again, the question's going to come down is they're going to catch Justin Forter on the number 26. He is a total of like I believe close to around 20 seconds ahead of RC, but with RC running close to 2 seconds a lap faster, maybe that won't be as big of a gap as we might think coming towards the end of this.
Yeah, I think Justin might be okay here. As long as he doesn't just fall off a cliff here with his speed. Both drivers came into pit road at the same time. So I think Justin Fortner is going to be all right coming in, staying on the lead lap. I think for a lot of these drivers, though, they're feeling like they're in no man's land because of how spaced out everyone is. You're just running your own race and hoping that you're putting down some of the fastest laps here of late, but RC Anderson doing it again, still putting down crazy quick lap times. It's so impressive to see a driver like you noted on. He's a professional. He does this, and he just is showing off here today, showing, hey, this might be one of the most difficult tracks. We've seen drivers that have shown up and are racing for the championship struggle here, but I'm going to come out and prove and show how good I really am.
Yeah, that was 3 laps in a row that he ran times faster than the third place guy did even third place driver or third place qualifier. 3 laps in a row, he's doing faster lap times than most of the drivers in the track did for qualifying. I mean, that's in a race pace. Already 5 laps, 6 laps into his race pace. That's fast. That's really fast. You think he likes this track or something?
I think he might have ran this track a couple of times in real life, and I think he might have liked it a little bit.
Yeah, that pretty car, and he's pretty fast right now. So, yes, he's now gapped himself out to coming into around 35-second lead now over Henry.
Oh my goodness. He just put his fastest lap down that
That
last time by. He used every bit of push to pass on that lap. A 1:15.269 lap time. And we compare that to his qualifying lap. We compare that to his practice lap. That is the fastest lap he has ran here tonight through
That's the
all
fastest
sessions.
lap, period. That was faster lap than anybody's done. Even faster than Alex did his qualifying when he got pole. He ran almost about a tenth and a half faster than Alex Vanderson did on his pole lap, 6 laps into his run.
And we still got 10 laps to go, but he doesn't have any more push to passes, so he's done the best he can, knowing where the tires are at. Now it's just survive for RC in his mind, because he has now put down that fast lap. That is incredible to see from this 75 team, recognizing, hey, it's got 30 plus seconds over the driver behind me. I've got some clear racing. Let's just put down a quick lap and continue on with this pace is RC Anderson. And I think also what might be in his mind is trying to put more drivers a lap down with the speed that he's going.
Yeah, I mean, he's running out of time to be able to lap the whole field. Unfortunately for RC Anderson, I don't think he's going to lap the whole field. So, he's going to have to leave here defeated after all that, obviously. So, as he locks up, there's a
Oh
car
no!
in the middle of the turn. I mean, it's not really that big of an issue for him. Just get around. I mean, he's got a 35-second lead. But man, who is that? That looks
That was
like
the 88.
88. Yeah, 88 of Jari. Tires all skewed out of both directions. Man, we were just talking. He had it all made to in his name. They were about to put the trophy, in his car already, and things like this happens. You can't predict what's going to happen. You see, he just noses it right into the wall there. Jari did. Not uncommon. We've seen that with most drivers so far tonight. Not able to get that turn dialed in just right, and unfortunately goes straight into the wall. RC did a fantastic job just deciding to go straight rather than get anywhere involved in that. But continues on. He may lose a little bit of time, unfortunately, from having a 37-second lead. So we'll see where he comes back around at the flag stand land.
Well, it looks like he's still about 30 seconds. So he still has a good gap, only lost 6 seconds, even with him having to come to a complete stop, whip that car around, and get around that of Jari. But hey, for RC, luckily he built up that massive of a lead. So if there was that incident that just happened, he was able to rebound and continue on. But a very scary moment. And gotta say, what a great reaction move, though, to, like you said, just go straight, go into the runoff, so that you're not putting yourself in any other danger to ruin your car, especially when it was only 9 laps to go at that moment of that incident.
One question we do have to ask coming towards the end of this. You had stated that Victor was coming down pit road. I don't know if he is at this point. Victor Del Porto is he's only got about 6 or 7 more laps left to go. I know he has red tires and he's been out on them for quite a long time. Well, you know what? Never mind. Yeah.
If he had tried to stretch it, I would have been very concerned for this 27 machine. It wasn't even, tires would have been an issue to watch out for, and also I think fuel would have been an issue to watch out for Victor, as he would have had to stretch it out the furthest we've seen anybody go. Because when he came in, it was on lap 24. He'd been on that stint, and that was around the longest that we've seen a lot of these drivers go. But everyone else should be good from here on out to make it. Question is for that of Victor Del Porto. Oh no! Henry Bennett involved!
Oh, got into the back coming out of pit
no.
road. Oh, debris all over
It was
the
actually
track.
Hunter Smith. Oh my goodness.
Hunter Smith, the number 35 car, he was running in 7th place as he, I mean, they're a vast portion of the track coming out of pit road. He has to say about that line, but after that, you can go anywhere you want. Unfortunately, I don't think 35 could slow down in time. He was probably thinking he was going to stay out towards the outside wall, and unfortunately, that turns Victor Del Porto around, and the front end of Hunter Smith was destroyed.
With Hunter Smith, he's still racing. You can see that right front tire. It is destroyed. It is barely wobbling. And this could be the potential chance of even more positions to be gained by Alexander Vanderson. Vanderson could gain 2 positions off of this incident, as Victor Del Porto took that of the toe. Very heavy damage for the 27 machine, and the 35, he is limping around this course currently.
Wow, you can't tell what's going to happen in this race. Anything can happen. This track is tearing these cars apart. I mean, mistakes after mistakes, and again, the longer we go into this, the more it's going to happen. It's the factor of these drivers are only thinking about one thing: finishing this race and getting off the computer. As I stated, this track is very bright. The walls are everywhere, and your mind is just so concentrated on not hitting anything. Boy, yeah, that tire for I think that was Hunter Smith is I mean, that's pretty much destroyed. What that is absolutely going to allow Alex Vanderson to be able to get around him for a position.
I freaked out. I saw a hint of green. That's why I thought it was Henry Bennett for a quick second. It wasn't. It was only that of Hunter Smith, and Smith, who had been running well in 6th position. Now, just hoping the damage isn't too bad, that he can try to get back out there on track, as Alexander Van de Sant up to 7th after passing that of Del Porto. And now, Alexander Van de Sant, there could be more carnage still to be seen, as Van de Sant still needs to come into pit road, and he comes in now.
If you would have asked Alex Vanderson on lap 26 when he was down to like 15th or 16th, if where he would have finished this race and still be 2 laps down, I guarantee you he would have not guessed that he would have been in an opportunity to be able to get into 6th position. I guarantee you he didn't think he'd probably get back in the top 10 position. But here he is in 7th place with a good shot at being able to, well, the 35 is right in front of him. I don't know if they're on the same lap or
not. They are. This is for position that we're seeing.
Oh man, how things turn out. But this is where he's got to be careful. This is where he made a mistake with those fresh tires. He woes it up way further back than what he did that previous time. But yeah, this is position. He's definitely going to go after it. He definitely sees this as an opportunity to get even closer, even better position than. Oh, I gotta stop talking, man. It's not good. Things keep happening when I say stuff.
Oh, and Van de Sant whips it around. Now front nose damage, and it was just getting onto the throttle a little bit too soon, a little bit too aggressive, and it whips that of the 97. You see here, hits the bump, and away he goes into the inside wall, and that little bit of a tap did a slight damage to the nose, but I don't think it's too bad. I mean, it's crinkled up, but we'll see if he decides to come into pit road or not.
Do you think the camera adds looseness to a car? Because anytime we put a camera on somebody, they just have issues. I don't know what it is. I mean, we've caught so many incidents with just tuning into them and talking about them, and, you know, boy, you know, we point out the pressure situations, and, you know, we say these because we know them. We've been in them. I've been in many of these pressure situations. You know what a driver's thinking at that point in time, and you see how important it is for where they're running at in standings. And man, Alex Vanderson just he tried a little too hard, and that's just he's had the speed, just not the ability to be able to keep it underneath him.
Yeah, it's been the fresh tires. I mean, you noted on it right before the spin even happened. I mean, fresh tires has been the weakness so far for Alexander Van de Sant. And, you know, I think what helped him in that first stint before he came into pit road and why he had the lead at this first, you know, half of this race, got the pole position. But with that initial yellow flag that happened, I mean, it gave all these drivers times to warm up those tires a little bit more and then take off. So it helped Alexander Van de Sant. But then once he came into pit road, it has been almost a mistake every single time on those first 2 to 3 laps that we see the 97 getting himself into trouble, and now find himself limping. Does have slight nose damage on the wing, and now going to have to just hope that no other issues happen, because Nick DeGroot, our biggest mover of the day, up 8 positions from where he started. He's doing a great job of just surviving. 3 laps down is this 89, and he's only about 30 seconds away from that of Alexander Van de Sant, which is practically, you know, a third, of this track. So, and there's only 2 laps to go here. So these drivers are recognizing, hey, one mistake could make it to where you will not finish where you lie currently.
Yeah, I think we got a few more. We got actually 4 more laps, it looks like, to the end of this race. But yeah, it's coming close to the end. If you would have told me 11th place would have been 13 laps down, 10th place 4 laps down, 9th place 3 laps down, 7th place 2 laps down, and a position to where even 4th place is going to be close to, if not a lap, well, probably not a lap down, but fairly close to a lap down, I would have just been in awe on how any of these drivers were able to even get around this racetrack without having some kind of issue, because it's been just vicious out here, and it's not the other drivers. It's been the track.
Yeah, this track, it's a street surface. It is bumpy, it is messy, and it is very difficult, like we've noted on a lot. Very narrow. And honestly, we've seen some of the top drivers. Alexander Vanderson, pole sitter, a lot of issues. But coming to the white flag, it's R.C. Enerson that has been the driver that has been doing everything perfect this race. Been keeping himself out of trouble. Had one big scare with the 88, and then he came off the track, into the runoff. Found himself still over 30 seconds ahead of everyone else behind him, and continues to grow that lead. Gerald, it has been RC since he's gotten that lead after the incident from that of Alexander Van de Sant, and he continues to be up front on this white flag.
Yeah, he's got lightning on the car, and he's been lightning quick all day long. He has just been beautifully fast. I mean, that car with him underneath it is just something else. Something really to behold with just the amount of pace, car control that he's had. Through these tight corners he goes, and flawless once again as he comes around. He's going to only have a few more turns left to go before he can finish out this beautiful run that he's had going on.
It's been fabulous to see. He's put down the fastest lap of the whole entire session, and now coming around the last couple of bends, it's R.C. Enerson getting his first win of the season. It's been almost a year since he's won in the IndyCar Series. Well, here he gets the win done, surviving 80 laps and getting the victory as R.C. Enerson.
Fantastic run. Fantastic run. It's going to be a little bit before second place comes around. 35 seconds back is Henry, but very close behind him is Eric. Only a few seconds back, so Eric was putting on a strong run trying to catch up to him. A little too late, though. Looks like Henry Bennett, great points run, as you stated. Able to gain quite a bit of points on Alex Vanderson's unlucky day, and he's going to be able to come home in second place. But, yeah, as he comes across the line now, finishes in second. Great run. Going to have a fantastic battle towards the end. And third is Eric in Trano in the number 14 car.
Yeah, I mean, top three now have finished it. We're waiting for now Justin to be the next driver to come across the line. Chad Frankfield's already crossed it. 4 drivers on the lead lap finishing out today's race. And that is crazy to think that it's only 4 drivers on the lead lap. And the man that got the win was R.C. Enerson, who's just trying to find his way and probably a spot to even do donuts at this point.
Yeah, it's been an interesting run. We're going to go ahead and do a race rundown as far as the finishing positions. We're just waiting on the last few cars to come across the finish line. I'll let my lovely wife go ahead and do the race rundown as they're closing out the final end of it, as RC is on the front straightaway doing some burnouts here. Well deserved.
So obviously we have the number 75 RC taking away the victory today, followed by Henry Bennett in second place, Eric Troiano in third place, Justin Fortner in fourth place, Chad Frankenfield in fifth place, Hunter Smith coming in sixth place, Alexander Van de Sant in seventh place, Nick DeGroot in eighth place, the number 3 of Craig Forsyth in ninth place, and rounding out the top 10 with Victor Del Porto. After him, we have Jerry Brewpatcher in 11th, Jordan Owens in 12th, Adriano Pinheiro in 13th, Garrison Hogan in 14th, Ryan Schuld in 15th, Presley Sora taking home 16th, Robert Malexa III in, 17th here? Jared Rexing in 18th, Michael Hosak in 19th, Alec Balvans in 20th, Mark Rabilis in 21st, Vincent Isabella 22nd, and Marshall Stanley 23rd.
Well, joining us here now is our race winner, and may I say, absolutely blazing fast run for the night is R.C. Anderson. Hey, R.C. Anderson, you got us?
Yep, I'm here.
So, after lap 26, when you saw Alex Vandersant spin out in front of you, and you were just left out to your own at that point, and you just had to run to the end, what was your mindset to be able to still stay focused? Because the big thing for tonight was just so many drivers losing focus as far as you know, paying attention to where they're at in the track and not making any mistakes. It looked like you had nothing to do out there, but yet you were still running these amazing lap times. What exactly was the mindset and the driving through that you had tonight, RC?
Yeah, I think it was a little tough. I knew once I wasn't on pole, it was going to be a bit of a track position race. It's really tough to pass. So I figured I'd just sit behind Alex and maybe challenge him a little bit, just pressure him, see if I can pressure him into a mistake. Once I got him into a mistake right there out of the pits, he just on the black tires. Just it was super tough. The fast first lap of black tires, so it was just like tiptoeing around. But he locked it up too late, got into the wall. Once I knew I was clear, I knew he probably had damage, so I saw him pit, and I was like, okay, now I just need to cruise control the end. I was looking at the fuel window, and I was thinking if I could save enough, if I could save 4 laps of fuel, I could make it with just 2 more stops. But then I found out I was not going to be able to do it, so it was just full on qualifying laps to the end.
Yeah, we saw that. You ran the fastest lap of the whole race session, even faster than anyone did in qualifying. I mean, just absolute pace that was on fire. I saw on the YouTube side your real life team Top Gun Racing giving you a shout out. They said they're gonna save you some bush lights at the fountain and everything. So maybe after this race you can soak it up and enjoy this. We had noted that you hadn't won in quite a while in the IndyCar series with the league here, um, due to one issue or another. But you come away with tonight's victory. Uh, are you gonna look to be able to bring this kind of momentum going forward to do any kind of other road coursing racing in real life? I mean, does this iRacing event here bring any kind of comfort towards any kind of real life racing, or is it just a completely different beast?
It's a bit of a completely different beast. I mean, you're using way more hands and feet rather than getting the feeling from your butt and your body as you would do in the real car. And you can always just press the reset button. So you got there for qualifying laps, and you're really just going way over what you think you can do to see if you can make it work. Whereas when you have your own butt in the car, it's tough to get that done. But yeah, it was just the second I got in the lead, just qualifying laps from there forward, just consistent. I think since I'm more of a road racer per sense, a lot of these guys aren't really that big into the road racing scene. So do clocking those laps over and over again, like doing the Daytona 24-hour, the 12-hour, all these long events and endurance racing, it gets you in the focus of being able to hit the marks and be that consistent on lap times.
Well, I joked about it earlier in the broadcast that I feel like you have to sometimes put yourself in a hindrance to be able to make these things entertaining on these road courses. I'm thinking in the future, maybe more than just an eye patch. You're going to have something really start to hinder you because you went out to a 35-second lead there at the end and just absolutely was able to have pace that no driver could even withstand. Congratulations to you. If you have any shout outs, we'll let you go ahead and do your shout outs and then we'll let you rest for the rest of the night.
Yeah, I'm Top Gun Racing. You guys here up in the booth. I love watching the replays afterwards. Chad, who runs the league, he's the one that makes our weekday nights a lot of fun, and we get to hop on the sim and racing. So I love to do. So I love hopping on the sim and racing with these guys, especially with how challenging it is. We get on the ovals. I know I'm really strong on the road racing side and a little bit on the short oval, but man, the mile and a halfs and super speedways, it's tough to compete with a lot of these guys. So it's a lot of fun, and I hope to keep doing it for a long time in the future.
Well, congratulations to you, RC. Maybe take it easy on us in the oval side because if you bring this kind of intensity, I don't see how anyone's going to touch you for a while. So I'll see you at the next oval track. That's where I'll see you on a racetrack. But other than that, it was fun watching you tonight. You have yourself a wonderful night.
Yep. Thanks, guys.
And that was your first place finisher. We're going to bring up our second place, and fantastic run, was in second in points, and worked himself up to having a fantastic run and gain a little bit of point standing on Alex Vanderson, and that is Henry Bennett in second place. How are you doing tonight?
Yeah, good, thanks. Yeah, better now the race is finished. That was a tiring one.
Yeah, we had noted that this track was chewing them up and spitting them out, but yet you were consistent. You had a clean vehicle, one of the few that had really no mistakes. We didn't really mention any kind of issues or You didn't see you run off at any part of the track. You just came out and you did what you had to do. Alex Vanderson maybe had the speed on the on the racetrack, but with issues, it puts you right into the catbird seat essentially. So, what was your game plan for tonight? I mean, what exactly going into this tough of a racetrack? Did you know exactly how difficult this was going to be?
Yeah, I always plan to run conservatively, knowing how dangerous the track is and how easy it is to wreck or clip the wall. And it worked out. My title contenders, Adriano and Alex, both had issues with hitting the wall, but I'm still, happy with second. I don't think I would have ever had anything to compete with RC with, but still a little frustrated with my pace. That I had the pace of those guys in practice and qualifying, but yeah, couldn't quite turn it on when I needed in race. So yeah, the P2 was lucky that others found the wall, but yeah, I would have liked to have been able to turn on the pace a bit more.
Well, the road course racing is done for the rest of the season, so I don't know if that's a benefit or a hindrance for you going forward. You got two races coming up. You've got Michigan, which is one of those tracks that is it, it's anybody's horse at that point, and then you've got Gateway coming up, which is a lot of people's favorite track for these Indy cars. You got two races, and you've gained quite a bit of points on Alex going into it. What's your strategy going forward from here?
It's still going to have to be conservative. You can't risk wrecking out, especially the double points finale. But I've won Michigan and Gateway in this league before, so yeah, I'm feeling confident. But with how strategy works out at ovals, you can never guarantee a good result.
Absolutely. Again, you had a fantastic run. We're gonna let you go ahead and do your shout outs, and then other than that, we'll have to watch and see how you progress for the last two races, and see if we can make a good showing of it.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, hopefully I'll have a good couple of final races. But yeah, shout out to Powerslide Motorsports. Yeah, always giving me great support. And shout out to the league. Yeah, always put on a great show. Love being part of it. Yeah, shout out to you guys for broadcasting.
Well, we appreciate you jumping on in here with us, and congratulations, and making it a fun, exciting run to the finish in this Mega Driver 86 IndyCar series. So, other than that, you have yourself a wonderful night. You can now rest up and know that you have a championship to go out and win.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Well, that was our second place finisher, Henry. Sam, what do you think? You jumped on halfway through the broadcast with me, but it sounded like you watched most of the beginning. Was it what you were expecting a fast paced street course to be?
Yeah, I mean, Belle Isle, one of the tracks where usually when you come into the first, 5 laps, even on the first lap, you're expecting at least one big wreck to happen. It certainly did happen here, but I gotta say, I was surprised that, all the drivers that kept on getting wrecked out, it never really felt like it stopped. It was a constant thing that was going on throughout the race. We almost saw our leader, RC Anderson, almost taken out by a driver that was struggling. So, very surprising on all that factor, but man, what a race it was here tonight. Excited to see what we're going to be seeing moving forward, for all the drivers going into Michigan and Gateway being the next races that are coming up. But what's crazy to think, Henry Bennett has made the pass points wise to be our points leader. He's going to be up by 13 points, and he threw out the fact that there is the double points that can be gained at Gateway in 2 weeks. So even if you've got a small margin of a lead, it really doesn't mean that much in the big scheme of things until we get to Gateway.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting run close to the finish there. So again, I'm glad I could be able to be here for broadcasting. We'll do a final shout out to my wife, Dr. Erica Campbell here. Erica, it was your first broadcast. I thought you did very well. We're gonna have another broadcast here on Sunday, in the Old Testament Firearm Truck Series, where you and I are gonna be able to broadcast something I'm pretty familiar with the oval side. How would you rate your first experience with broadcasting and firsthand experience with actually witnessing this side of broadcasting with Elite?
I definitely realized that there's a lot more to it than I thought there was. So I have a better appreciation for what you guys are doing, and obviously the ones who are doing it professionally, all that they're having to keep up with. But I really enjoyed the race. Definitely a lot more kind of single car incidents than I'm used to seeing, rather than having multi-car incidents. But it was downright treacherous. So very good race.
Well said. Yeah, that's one thing that you and I haven't really experienced is these street courses. They talk about NASCAR going towards them and everything, and we see it just how deadly they can be with these Indy cars here. So, yeah, I mean that's a good point. A lot of single car runs. We did see a couple two car hits, but most of the time it was just self inflicted injuries that caused a lot of these people to have problems. So, it's going to be interesting as we go into the truck race next week or this Sunday with the chase system racking up as it is. But other than that, I think we had a fantastic time. Me and my wife here enjoyed it. I appreciate you jumping up here, Sam. Uh, it was an enjoyable race all around to witness. It was really my first ever elite Indy race that I was actually a part of and watching and spectating. And I gotta say, man, these guys are hard at it. I would have to believe that most of these guys here are probably top Indy drivers on iRacing with just the amount of speed and technical that they had to deal with. But yeah, as we come to the final closing of the both the race and the session here, we got to do a shout out. Thank everyone that was a part of it. Anyone that came out to watch. Again, if you want to tune in on Sunday, you can be able to watch both Eric and I and our great host here, David, with these beautiful shots that he has right here of this track above the air. We'll be back at it on Sunday. If you want to tune in, that should be at 9 o'clock, and we'll have some more fun. Other than that, I thank everyone, and we'll do it again.